All right, y'all, welcome back to our very bookish channel, and welcome to my kind of mid-year recap, but mostly all the books that I read in the second quarter that y'all don't know about. So I want to start off talking about how many books I've read so far this year. Y'all, I honestly, I have not prepared anything for this video. Y'all know. Y'all know me, I'm just winging it. But I've got my computer right here and I pulled up my Goodreads, and so far this year, I've read 73 books. Like, I don't even know how. I know there's been some short stories in there, but wow. And I didn't think it'd be that many, especially since I've been kind of book slumpy this year. So I'm not sure if that includes, let me see, if that includes any DNFs that I have. If it includes DNFs, then we can subtract some, but let me see. No, I don't think it's including any of my DNFs. All the books on here I have actually read all the way through. Crazy. Wow, 73 books. I am shocked, honestly. I had no idea, honestly. So speaking of DNFs, let's just check and see how many DNFs I have. I know I've had so many. I've DNF'd a lot of books lately because they haven't been keeping my attention. I've been slumpy and I don't want to get more slumpy or completely like tired of reading. So I have been DNFing a lot of books. Holy cow. How many has it been this quarter? I'm just going to go over the ones that I've DNF'd this quarter. Let's see. So that's going to be April, May, and June. So all of the books in April, May, and June. So I have DNF'd 10 books in the last 3 months. That is so much for me. I am trying to get better at DNFing because no one likes to force themselves to read a book they're not really interested in. And I will say though, 8 of the 10 books are all DNFs for the exact same reason, and that's just because they weren't holding my attention. I got bored, I couldn't keep reading them, I wasn't interested. So I'm just gonna list all of them real quick because they are all DNFs for the exact same reason, and that's gonna be His Face is the Sun by Michelle Habe Corpora, Anji Kills a King by Evan Leakum, Shadow Wars, The Secret War, which was a middle grade or like YA book by Sherilyn Kenyon. Their Monstrous Hearts by Yigit Turhan. I think I did DNF that in a vlog that we did. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Oh, it broke my heart to DNF that book because his humor in all his books are amazing and I was really liking the writing, but I just couldn't really get into the story. It felt very drawn out and I lost interest. The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song, that was also disappointing. And Elemental by Anthony John. All those are just DNFs because they weren't keeping my attention. Now, one book I want to talk about that I DNF'd and kind of explain why really broke my heart. It was What Fury Brings by Trisha Levenseller. I got an ARC of that book through NetGalley, advanced reading copy. I was so excited. I wanted to love that book so much because I have enjoyed all of Trisha Levenseller's books, and this was her first adult debut book. Oh, I wanted to like it so much. I hated the world. I absolutely couldn't stand the world that these people lived in, and I did not like the main female character, so I had to DNF it. I just couldn't take it anymore, and I hate to say that, it breaks my heart. And the last book that I DNF'd, I didn't want to DNF. I was loving this book, but it was going in a direction where it was building up to something that was going to happen, and I predicted it was going to happen, and I thought, no, I can't read this if that happens. And I went on Goodreads, and my suspicions were confirmed what was going to happen, so I did DNF this book at 80%. It is tragic. If you want to, like, cry, I guess. See, here's the thing. I like dark, I like disturbing, but I don't like sad. So there's disturbing like you know, your main character goes into battle and gets killed on the battlefield, kind of disturbing. And then there's disturbing, like, you've got sick kids, kind of disturbing. And I don't like the sad sick kids, kind of disturbing, and I don't really enjoy reading it in books. So I felt like this was going that direction, and my suspicions were confirmed. And there's no kids in this book, so that's not a spoiler. That's not what happens in this book, but it's just that type of sad, and I couldn't do it. So I had a DNF, but it was a very lovely book. So I do recommend the book if you can handle being really sad. But for me at that time, I was loving the book and was not liking the direction it was going. So I DNF'd that. So there you go. All my DNFs 10, which is crazy, but I'm kind of proud of myself because I did want to work on DNFing more. So I think I'm just going to start in April. I'm going to just go in order and list all of the books and give just a small little tidbit about the book and let you know what I thought. So I have read a total of 39 books in the months of April, May, and June. And 22 of them are books y'all do not know about because I have not told you in vlogs. So the first two books I'm going to talk about because it's books number 2 and 3 in a series, and that is Lady of Shadows and Lady of Ashes by Melissa K. Roehrich. This is a fantasy series. There are 5 books. I have read all 5. The last 2 I also have read in this quarter, so I have completed the series. It's a book about fae, kind of like A Court of Thorn and Roses, I would say. It's a lot darker than A Court of Thorn and Roses, but it's very similar fairy vibes, very epic storytelling, lots of action. So I highly recommend that series if that's something you're interested in. Then I read When the Wolf Comes to Call by Nat Cassidy. I got an arc of that book. I didn't love it. I gotta be honest with y'all. I wanted to like it. The writing was fine, but I didn't love it. So there you go. This is a story about a little boy who is running from, and he comes across a young woman who gets kind of roped into helping him run from, and is this kind of scary wolf, and you just dig more into that story. It was gory, so if you don't like gore, I wouldn't recommend it, and I liked it but didn't love it. The next book I read is a book I own. I have so much to say about this book, but I'm not going to talk a lot about it. It's Son of Darkness by Gourav Mohanty. This book, y'all, this book was good. The story that's unfolding is good. I was getting Game of Thrones vibes, honestly. The writing is good. The writing is good, but it's so hard for me to follow all of these characters. There are a lot of characters. There are a lot of point of views, and they have names that aren't common. So for example, and also the names sound also like places. So I don't know, it was just hard to kind of follow. So I've got to say, and this is really weird, but I borrowed the ebook on Libby because obviously it's easier to hold my little Kobo than this huge book. I also, since I was having trouble pronouncing all of the names and keeping them straight, I also borrowed the audiobook on Libby so that I can immersion read. I wanted to listen to the audio and read the ebook or physical book at the same time. The ebook on Libby does not match the physical book. So I started reading the physical book and I got through like the first section, and then I started reading the ebook, and the ebook, all the chapters are switched around. So it's like this book is broken down into sections, and each section you're following a couple of set of characters, kind of like in Game of Thrones, how you follow like each family has their own storyline, kind of the same like that. The ebook and physical book have switched some of the sections around. Don't know why. First time that's ever happened to me, but I was so confused. I was so confused when I was listening to the audiobook and got to the ebook, and I'm like, wait, I'm at the wrong spot. And I got like all screwed up, ended up starting over, listening to the audiobook, reading the physical book, because the audiobook and the physical book go in the same progression. The ebook was screwed up. So just to warn you all, if you try to do that, I do recommend this book if you have the patience. It's not a very fast book you're just going to sit and fly through and not think a lot about. It is very complicated, very layered, lots of things to follow. And I even did buy Dance of Shadows, and I am wanting to also immersion read Dance of Shadows with the audiobook because it's just so much easier to follow. But the story that's unfolding, y'all, and there's some cliffhangers at the end, but the story is really good. So I could see them maybe making this into like TV shows or movies just like Game of Thrones. The next book I read is The Blinding Knife by Brent Weeks, and it's the second book of the Lightbringer series. It's a great series. I am going to continue reading the series slowly, so I will be moving on to book 3 soon. I gave the book 4 stars, so super creative, fun series by Brent Weeks. And then I read Lady of Embers and Lady of Starfire by Melissa K. Rourke. Those are the last 2 books in the 5-book series. It's the same Fae series that I told you about earlier in the video. So I just binged that whole series, and they are really big books, but they are so bingeable and fun. It just really gave me ACOTAR vibes, but much more complicated and much darker than ACOTAR, like I said before. The next book I read was Kings of the Wyld by Nicholas Eames. This was a disappointment, I gotta be honest. I wanted to like this book. It has so many things about this book I like. The found family aspect, the adventure aspect, the danger aspect. These are very like hard men that are going out and being violent, but they're good men and they have a good mission, but they just get in these situations that call for violence. And I wanted to like this book so much, but I was honestly very bored through a lot of it, and I did make myself finish it, but I'm not gonna complete the series. The next book I read was a dark romance called The Lies We Steal by Monty J. And this is the Hollow Boys series. I got kind of interested in reading this because of some YouTubers talking about it. And I gotta be honest, I don't remember a whole lot about the book. I gave it 3 stars, so it must have been okay. And I must have liked it okay, but I know it's about a secret society on a college campus, and obviously it's a dark romance. So I do remember certain parts about the book, and I can picture the characters in my head, but I honestly don't remember all the details. So it was okay book. It wasn't that memorable to me. The next book is a book that I did a little short for. I haven't talked about it in a vlog though, or a video, so y'all might not have seen it, but I read Direbound by Sable Sorensen. Oh my gosh, y'all. It was compared to Fourth Wing, and there was a lot of Fourth Wing themes in this book, but it was not as good as Fourth Wing, I'm not gonna lie, but it was really good, and it did keep me captivated. It did keep me sucked in. It is a chunker, but I wouldn't let that intimidate you because it reads very quickly. It's very fun, very fast, easy to read. I was never bored. I was always even shocked at some things. Some of the twists even shocked me, so that's a plus, and I recommend it if you're looking for a fun, fast-paced romantasy. The next book I want to talk about is Darkdawn, which is the 3rd and final book of the Nevernight Chronicles. Y'all, for me, the very first book was the best book. I love Jay Kristoff's books. I'm a fan. I like his writing. I cannot wait for November when the 3rd and final book of the Empire of the Vampire comes out. Oh, I'm chopping at the bit for that book. But this series just wasn't it for me. Y'all, they did Trick dirty. I'm sorry. I can't get over it. I'm still not over it. I was not very happy with some of the characters' endings in this series, and that's all I'm gonna say. Don't want to spoil anything for you. I'm obviously in the minority because the ratings on Goodreads in this series, the books get better, so I'm in the minority here, but to me the best book was the first book, and I was kind of disappointed in the 2nd and 3rd books of the series. So I read The Serpent and the Wolf by Rebeca Robinson. Y'all, this book shocked me. I was shocked how much I liked this book. I really wasn't expecting to love it as much as I do. I did give it 4 stars, so it wasn't a 5-star banger, but y'all, this book, if you're looking for a dark enemies to lovers romantasy, you've got to read this book. You've got to give it a shot. It is part of a trilogy. Let me see. Yes, it is part of a trilogy. The 2nd book is The Wicked and the Damned, and it is coming out in February, so I gotta wait till February to get my hands on the 2nd book of this trilogy, but I highly recommend if you're into dark fantasy romance. So, following the dark fantasy romance theme, I wanted to read some more Jennifer L. Armentrout because I did enjoy Of Wrath and Ruin. So, I read White Hot Kiss, and this book was just okay. After I finished reading it, I had the intentions of finishing the series, but now that I'm looking back and thinking back on it, and I'm thinking of all the other books that I want to read, I really don't know if I'm going to continue the series or not. I don't know. It was memorable book. I remember it, and it was different than any other thing that I've read, but I just really wasn't loving it. So I am just going to mention very quickly, I did do an ARC review for this book. I have not posted it yet, but it's We Are All Guilty Here by Karin Slaughter. I did read this book, and I just want to throw it up here to let you all know, because you don't know yet that I've read it, but there is an ARC review coming, so stay tuned for that. Next, I read The Gilded Cage by Lynette and Noni. This is the second book in the Prison Healer trilogy, and it was good. It was okay. I am going to read the third book to finish out the trilogy. I am interested just enough to keep going, but I don't know. It's been kind of predictable for me, and it's interesting keeping my attention. The second book did feel very different than the first book. I could see a lot of character development. I can see a lot of writing progression with the author, and the book did feel very different than the first book. So I am interested to see where the third one's going. I think I gave this one 3 stars. Yes, I gave this one 3 stars, so I'm interested enough to keep going. So I will be reading the third and final book of this trilogy, hopefully in the third quarter. The next 2 books I'm going to list for you because I have already read them, but they are going to be coming out in our July most anticipated TBR jar vlog. And that is The Tainted Con by Taran Matharu and The Unraveling by Keeland. So you don't know about those books yet, but there is going to be some vlogs coming out on that one. The next book I read is Painted Scars by Neva. And I don't know how to say her last name, so I'm just not going to butcher it. I obviously will have a picture up here. And again, this was dark mafia romance. I got roped into reading because of booktubers. And I did just listen to the audiobook of this while I was cleaning my house and decluttering and working on my house. So it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't great. I didn't love it. I don't know, like, all these booktubers are loving these dark fantasy romances and dark mafia romances, and I don't know, the books just seem okay to me. I do recommend it if you're into mafia romance. I think it was okay. I just didn't absolutely love it. This next book, y'all, it's a sore topic for me because it started my book slump. This next book was the beginning of my book slump, and then after I read this book, I DNF'd What Fury Brings. So that just DNFing What Fury Brings just propelled me into my book slump, and that is Caught Up by Navessa Allen. I did read this book. I did finish it. I really did not like it. I don't want to say I hated it, but I didn't like it. I didn't like Junior. He was very contradictive as a main male character. I did not like the main female character. I don't know, like so Junior, first of all, my biggest issue I think is with Junior. He is in the mafia. He's kind of a high up son of a very, very, very high ranking mafia member. He wants to get out, and he's been in love with this girl since high school. And so he is like supposed to be some like badass mafia guy that will at least facilitate the torture and unaliving of people, even if he doesn't physically do it himself, which I do think he might have. Can't remember exactly. So he's supposed to be this like real badass killer guy. And in some aspects, he was very protective of his woman. He was very like kind of touch her and you die. But then on the other hand, he was like completely okay with her basically sexting people for money. And she has an OnlyFans account and she runs a sex club. And he's okay with her doing things in this sex club, like for the enjoyment of other people and stuff. But I don't know. I was sort of confused with his character. I felt it was very contradictive. I didn't like it. All right, that's all I got to say. I just did not like that book. I don't know if I'm going to read the third book of that trilogy. I kind of want to because I liked the first book so much, but I just didn't like the second book so much. It's kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. And the Final book I want to talk about that y'all don't know I read was Domestication, the Battlemage Farmer series, the first book in the series by Seth Ring. This, I didn't love either. I mean, my book slump just keeps going. I don't know, y'all. I'm still feeling slumpy. Like, I'm still in a slump, even though I've read some books that I like. I don't know. These books are just not doing it for me. So what I liked about this book is I really liked the game aspect. Like, it's like you are following a video game. The main character is playing a game. So, and it's like a Sims, kind of Sim City kind of game where he's got these missions and he's got these goals and he is trying to save this world. This game is built in by completing these goals and keeping the Armageddon away, okay? And that was very fun. Then the story within this game is also very cool. Like, I can see why so many people like this book. It was very interesting. I just found most of it boring. I loved the concept. The writing wasn't terrible, I don't think. I just found some of the characters blah. And I just found certain parts of this book, I'm like, okay, I get it. You're like, you know, planting wheat for this game objective and harvesting the wheat. But like, it's kind of boring. That's just how I felt. I don't know what to say. Very much of it could be that I was in a slump. And if I had read this at a different point in my life, maybe I would love it. But that's just my feelings on the book so far. I'm probably not going to continue the series anytime soon, if ever. Like I said, I thought it was interesting and I love the concept and I want to keep reading because I want this concept to keep playing out, but also didn't love the book. So why would I spend my time reading more books that I might not like? I don't know. We'll see. Who knows what the future holds. All right, so that is my mid-year recap / the 22 books I read in the second quarter that y'all don't know about. I did try to go through these quickly just in the interest of keeping this video shorter for y'all. So if you want more details about any of these books or you need me to explain further my feelings or why, feel free, comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you agree. I'm always wanting to converse with y'all about books and I do read all of the comments. I am interested in y'all's opinions and I just like building this book community and I hope y'all enjoy our videos, and if you did, please click the like button. We aren't really getting a lot of likes on our videos. Our views are getting higher, but we're not getting any likes and I don't know why. So if there's something you don't like, let me know. Constructive feedback is always welcome here. I'm always looking to do better, make better videos, produce better content, get better at my editing. So I am open to constructive criticism if you all have any for me below. But if you did like the video, please click the like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. And as Jen would say, until next time.